You know what's funny? Not a rhetorical question. I was hoping you had something, because I don't have any. I can't think of anything. I mean, if you can think of something funny on your own, then what do you need me for? Shouldn't you be doing a set at the Comedy Cellar right now? Making jokes like, hey, back in my day, it used to be called the Comedy Dungeon. And people throw tomatoes at you, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what they did in the dungeon. They said I was the worst jester they had ever seen. I was shit-talking the Magna Carta, they didn't like it at all. I was just being ironic. And it's like a medieval Jay Leno comes out, he's like, yeah, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? Back then, when you quit as a jester, you weren't allowed to come back. Say, actually, I like it. Because they would have cut your fucking head off. Once you're a jester for life. It's like being a Supreme Court judge, or, well, just, I mean, whoever you are as a person. Like, you have to be you for the rest of your life. Someone's not going to come up to you at 40 and be like, so, do you want to be somebody else? You're like, I didn't know that was an option. Yeah, I'm gonna be Jake now. I'm gonna show up to pool parties that nobody invites me to. And I'm gonna get heavily invested in a beef jerky farm. Do they make beef jerky on farms? Gotta figure that out before I become Jake. If you did a dice roll on what your next, identity or life is gonna be, you taking that chance? Personally, I wouldn't. I think there's too many chances that it could be way worse than I have it now. Because there's always two ways to look at it. Depending on which one you pick, I think an alchemical transformation happens where you experience bad things happening to you and then you multiply them inside you and then they kind of project back outwards and now your life actually is way worse. Because that's the channel you're tuned into now. For the most part, the vast majority of people you know, regardless of whether they're relatively upbeat or the opposite, like most people in, a first world country, we probably fall somewhere in the middle of the bell curve in terms of overall fortune. Yeah, you wouldn't know that by talking to us. Like, if you're like, oh, I was dropped on my head immediately after I was born into a dried up well with a bunch of rocks at the bottom. And then I finally got pulled out at 18. My parents were like, oh yeah, we meant to swing by, but like that is not a good life. Then you're allowed to be impatient at Starbucks. If they get your name wrong, you can say, I lived in a fucking well, I don't have to take this. Why is the text smaller on my screen now? Or did I get bigger? Is that how it works? Maybe my eyes got bigger. Can a giant read a book? Or are their eyes too big so the words are too small? That's an impossible question to answer, I think, because all the giants are uneducated, they're illiterate. I want to teach a giant how to read. But I want to have him read BFG, and I want to be like, so is this accurate? And he's like, giant crush. And then he crushes me. This is what I want to happen. If you're a giant and you're hearing this, okay, I'm getting a call on the phone line. Hello?
This podcast?
Who is this?
Gigantus McManus.
Wait, you're a giant? How did you call so fast?
Me have big ear, me hear all sounds within mile.
Oh, you're within a mile of me? Is that why you keep showing up on my Tinder? Well, do you have some kind of complaint? Did I step out of line? Am I wrong about your people?
No, me call simply to say me want comment on fortune and gratefulness.
So you're not calling about anything related to giants. Okay, go on.
Me get shot by military equipment just for going out for a walk. Life unfair for Gigantus, but me take it in stride.
Yeah. So sorry, I can't get the Tinder thing out of my mind. So how does that work if you match with somebody?
Me find open-minded partner.
Well, here's the thing, it's well known there's a lot of height dishonesty on Tinder. How tall are we talking here? Are we talking Hagrid? Are we talking BFG?
Gigantus about yay high.
You can't say yay hi, I can't see you.
No, sorry, me greet rat who live in cave with me. When I see him, I say yay hi, 'cause he best friend.
Okay. So, how tall are you?
Me don't know number to describe.
It's okay.
Me think only way to describe it would be 12 John Belushi high.
You're 12 John Belushi's high? You don't know numbers, but you know John Belushi.
Me have scattered areas of interest.
Yeah, that's what it said on your Tinder, too. You gotta be a little more specific, you know?
An improvement from before it just say big.
Alright, well, thank you so much for sharing your positive outlook on life with us. To be honest, it sounds like you have it pretty easy, so it kind of undercuts your entire message. Just because you get shot with bullets every now and then, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that bad overall.
Yeah, bullets no even hurt. What really hurt is when people come to me and they say, "How weather up there?" And me pick them up by their heads and bring them up into the air. And me say, "I don't know, why don't you tell me, Roker?" And they scream, and they scream. And then me dump them in nearest mattress pile. Also, other times, me break into Vertigo support group, lift all people up, say, "Face fear like a man."
Wow, that's really inspiring. Thank you so much. Which, by the way, you know, I should have mentioned my position on giants. I think each one should be hunted and killed with extreme prejudice, and I think we should use their meat instead of the meat of missing people. I should have mentioned that before I did that. I don't always do things in the right order. Do you ever brush your teeth backwards? You're like, wait, this is the opposite of how the pattern I usually do. Then you're like, next time I go to the dentist, they're gonna be like, why are your teeth all fucked up? It's like, because I brushed them backwards one time accidentally. And they're like, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's the fact that you spent the first 18 years of your life eating rocks in a well. We think that's the primary issue. It's like, yeah, I knew you guys would say that. You guys you're so predictable. I don't really floss enough, and I think they just either flossing at some point no longer became necessary, like the laws of physics changed where now I don't have to floss, or they just stopped telling me to floss because they're like, he's never gonna do it. But they don't have any other criticisms. It's almost gotten to the point now where I go to the dentist, I sit down, they say, hey, how's your life? And then they poke around in my mouth for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, so how are my teeth? And they're like, oh, those? You said teeth, right? How are your teeth? Well, they're still there. Doesn't everybody just assume that everyone at the doctor's office hates you because your body's not right or something? They're like, there's something wrong with you, and I'm gonna find out what it is. If you just say that in a different tone of voice, it sounds really menacing. It's like, you're gonna diagnose me? We're watching Scrubs, which I've just seen like bits and pieces of it here and there, but I've never really committed to watching an episode. And it kind of dawned on me, like, yeah, you couldn't make a show like that today. I don't know why. Like a show that actually has a kind of voice and characters that are like very flawed. And not just in ways that kind of serve the plot, but because there seems to be like a joy to developing the characters, aside from just, you know, telling jokes and writing 3 acts. But to me, that's the beauty of the sitcom. The 22-minute block a week, it's just the right dollop to get, the right size. That's why I don't really know of any good comedies that had like 45-minute episodes every week. I mean, in Glee, they had to make room for the musical numbers and the lesbian makeout sessions or whatever. I don't remember that show very well. There was definitely at least 2 lesbians making out. It must have happened. 22, 23 range, that's right in the pocket, I think. And that goes for everything else, not just network sitcoms. I think you should only sleep for 22 minutes a week. Spend 22 minutes a week with your family. Halfway through, they're like, why do you not want to spend time with us? And you're like, we're already at Act 3. You have to have gotten over that by this point. We just came back from a commercial break and you're rehashing this? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You need to go live in a home. So yeah, to anybody, I don't know who this segment's for. I mean, I think I might be the last person on Earth who hasn't seen Scrubs. But here I am. I haven't seen Scrubs, and I vote. Okay? The mystery to me is why you can't make that show again. I guess they did, because there is a Scrubs reboot. There are certain things like American comedy can't ever seem to do. Namely, mostly stuff from the UK. I had to watch the American version of Ghosts on an airplane one time. We've seen the, UK version of Ghosts, and it's a great show. So I was like, let's see the American take on it. Then by the end, I was like, wait, they forgot to put the jokes in the show. They just said stuff like it was jokes, but if you listen to what they were saying, they weren't actually jokes. That's my trick. Folks, time check has to get started, because if it doesn't, if I stop doing time check on the podcast, men will come to my home and they will beat me to within an inch of my life using shovels. That's what the host of Time Check, Slurp on Lipstick, told me. He said, if you ever fire me, I'm going to stop hooking you up with Girl Scout cookies. And I was like, you already went from physical violence to just depriving me of cookies? Is there anything in between? And he said, no. Also, the Girl Scout cookies he was hooking me up with, they weren't real Girl Scout cookies. I got a whole box that was just like a bunch of fake cookies you'd find in a dollhouse. And I ate a whole sleeve before I figured that out. Anyway, under threat of violence, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Slurp on Lipstick. Thank you so much, thank you. This is the only thing keeping me alive. The doctors say I have basically no blood in my body, and I said, what do you mean by basically? And they said, well, it depends on how you want to look at it. You have about half the amount of blood you should have. So you can either say, well, I'm glad I have, 50%, or you can get down in the dumps about the fact that you're half empty. Well, that reminds me, I gotta go to the gas station later. He said that. The doctor actually said that. And I was like, well, does my insurance cover this? And he was like, yeah, we looked, you don't have blood insurance. Anything that involves my blood is not insured under my healthcare plan. I've been trying to talk to my employer, the host of the Purgatory podcast. He will not budge. Look, this is late capitalism. So yeah, did I threaten somebody with violence if they try to ever tell me that I can't check the time anymore? For legal purposes, no. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta call my lawyer. His name is Quintus Bobibilius. I kept seeing his ads on billboards and I was like, Quintus Bobibilius, isn't he from The Hobbit?
Quintus here. Speak me.
Wait, you sound a lot like Gigantus McManus.
Me don't know who you refer to. Me lawyer. Would me lie to you?
We haven't actually met in person. You're a fucking giant? And your moonlighting is an attorney?
Gig economy tough.
You went to law school? How'd you fit in?
Me just, be myself.
No, I mean, how'd you fit inside the school?
That personal question.
Look, do you care what time it is?
No.
It's 8:38 p.m.
Me don't need to know. Me live by sun and moon.
Right, but time is good for, getting a little more specific than sun or moon. It's like, what time are you getting married? Sun. Look, I'm a time guy, so I'm a little biased towards time, but what you're saying is kind of like pissing me off, because what you're basically saying is time doesn't matter, and it's kind of my whole thing.
Me see point, but look at it this way. Sun go up.
Yeah.
Sun go down. Moon go up.
Alright, I gotta get a real lawyer. Alright, goodbye. And I need to look into it. Just like I need to look into my blood problem. On the plus side, the doctor said if I ever get stabbed or something, not that much blood is going to come out, so I would probably survive. And then they started stabbing me to prove that, and it's still bled a lot. I'm still recovering. I'm starting to think, maybe these aren't real doctors or my insurance is this bad. These are the ones I get. It was in network, so If you ever want to know what time it is, you can call me at 1-800-TIME. That's 1-800-TIME. It's not toll-free. It's honestly so expensive, I'm not comfortable saying what it costs publicly. Call 1-800-TIME. I'll tell you what time it is. That's my cell. We can talk for up to 5 minutes. We can talk more if you want to pay more. Hold on a second. Hello?
Hey, yeah, my name is, Klepton.
What's going on, Klepton? You want to know what time it is?
But I already know what time it is.
If you already know what time it is, why did you call the timeline? There are people who need to use this service.
It's, 8:40.
No, my clock says 8:41.
Mine's correct. It's 8:40.
No, mine's definitely correct. This is time check. I'm Slurp on Lipstick. I know that it's 8:41.
Nah.
It's not 8:40. It's 8. Well, now it's 8:42. So now you're 2 minutes behind.
No, it's 8:41.
Look, we can play this game all day, dude. You're not gonna win this. You're not trained at my level.
No, I'm gonna stand by.
You are a fool. If you don't let me have this, the rest of my year is gonna be bad.
Look, man, I don't want to...
And your 5 minutes are up. Thank you very much.
That wasn't 5 minutes.
What did I tell you about questioning me?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, sorry about that pesky caller. If anyone normal wants to call the phone line, I'll be around. Go to a pool, I'll show up. Any pool you go to, eventually I'll end up there. Anyway, I'll see you out there in the shallow end with floaties on. I'm safe about it. I'm Slurp on Lipstick. See you next week. Wow, yeah. Give it up. Nobody throwing tomatoes at Slurp on Lipstick. The last time somebody did it, he became a libertarian for an entire year. He was like, I should have been able to shoot that guy. And I'm like, man, you're overreacting. So if you throw tomatoes at anybody, throw them at me. I'll turn them into ketchup. You know, on my vacation, I went out for a drink on my birthday, and I had the inspiration to order fries. And now I'm like, I'm gonna order fries every single time I'm at a bar until the day that I die. Probably from the aforementioned fries. I could just eat fries forever. They don't even have to be that good. My stomach is so Irish, it just sees potatoes as like water to a fish. The only limit is my self-control. Which is a hard thing to get a really good grasp on. Whatever it is you're kind of addicted to, whether it's, you know, TV or to bring it back to, you know, just negative thinking, that becomes addictive as well, because addiction isn't necessarily about what feels good, it's about what feels comfortable. It's just a matter of what you're paying attention to. Because what you pay attention to gives it more reality. You actually do have that power. But not in the way that you would think, in the way that you can change physical circumstances psychically. It's more in the sense that what you actually are exists beyond physical circumstance. That it's much bigger than that. And you can realize that to varying degrees. If you can realize it to the degree, 1 degree above your current circumstances, like just 1 inch above the water table of your life, if you can get that high up, then you can look down and you can kind of have a better perspective on what's going on. Not unlike a giant. So attention is very powerful. Powerful people know that. That's why they weaponize your attention, because they realize how potent it is. Like, the collective attention of everyone on the planet is the most powerful weapon that exists. That's why they're constantly trying to... They're not even really trying to sway you in one direction or another. They're just trying to flood your nervous system. And then you're just a baby in a crib looking at the little mobile above them. And then at a certain point, the baby's like, if I keep looking at this thing, I'm never going to get out of this crib. But the shapes are so interesting. Coming up next on the show, we have 3 blind mice. This is the original 3 blind mice that from the titular song. Let's bring them out here. Come on out, guys. Alright, so they've been released now. They're kind of just scuttling around the room. So yeah, in terms of entertainment value of this segment, I'm not really sure what you were expecting from this. I told you what it was going to be. It's 3 handicapped rodents. running amok in this room. Yeah, I'm seeing how these guys run all right. Poorly. The nursery rhyme really doesn't make sense because their handicap never actually figures into the plot of the song. It's just incidental. It's just like character development to say, yeah, also they're blind. I guess it makes it more woke. According to Wikipedia, it might have been referring to Queen Mary I of England blinding and executing 3 Protestant bishops, but the Oxford martyrs were burned at the stake, not blinded, although if the rhyme was made by crypto-Catholics, the mice's blindness could refer to their Protestantism. Well, I guess I should edit this article because it's not about any of that shit. It's about 3 blind mice. I have the proof right here in my house. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you're on with the Purgatory Podcast. What can I do for you?
Well, this call isn't about me. It's about my clients. Carlos, and Carlos II.
What?
The artists formerly known as the 3 Blind Mice.
They're doing solo projects now?
They simply no longer wish to be associated with each other. They only agreed to appear on your podcast at the same time for old time's sake.
Their names are Carlos, and Carlos II?
Yeah, they really messed up changing their names. They filled out all the paperwork wrong. I don't know if it's because they couldn't see it or because they're mice. I don't know if it's because of the blindness or the miceness. So I'm simply here to tell you, you shall not refer to them as the 3 blind mice.
Well, you can't tell me what to do. Who are you? What even are you?
I'm Humpty Dumpty.
Okay. Who ended up putting you back together, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, it was love.
Wow.
Yeah, and enormous amounts of incredibly painful surgery. But I'm finally back. My new eggshell is much stronger. They actually said that if I get in a car crash, I'll be fine, but I'll destroy the car with my body.
Wow. Maybe you can reboot your career too. I mean, you got Easter coming up. That's the perfect time to maybe, have it paint yourself or something like that.
Yeah, I could do that. Or I could get caught driving a stolen Jaguar down the streets of Miami, filled to the yoke with Jack Daniels, and then it gets in the tabloids. Then I'm back.
Yeah, I think you should just stick with the Easter egg idea.
The mice are calling me. Hold on.
The mice can call you? There's so much about this world that I never knew about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll tell him. Stop, just chill. Be reasonable.
What are they saying?
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you later. I mean, sorry. Cheesed to talk to you. I know that's what you want me to say. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, jeez.
What do they say?
It was about you and, how it's been, working with you on this podcast.
Yeah?
And, they said that, they're cheesed to do it. That's what they said.
Oh, well, I'm cheesed to have them on. But look, I gotta move on. The podcast has to come to an end. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, look me up on Instagram. I got tour dates. I'm gonna come to your city. I'm gonna get blackout drunk and do stand-up comedy. And I'm gonna say something really bad about Irish people or something. And
yeah, I think you're just you're gunning for the wrong type of attention, Humpty Dumpty. I know it's on brand for you to completely destroy your life in a very public way. Ever since you fell from that wall, it's all just been, I honestly think you have kind of a victim complex.
You're really cracking my shell right now.
Is that good? I'm gonna assume that's good. Look, I gotta go.
Okay. Eggs. Egg you later.
Egg you later?
Egg you later.
Doesn't make sense, but fine. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I gotta feed the mice. I was told as part of their contract, I'm not allowed to touch them, so I just have to wait for them to leave of their own accord. Or did it say in their own accord? I can't remember what they came here in. I didn't see the make and model. And as our listeners know, those 2 sneezes signal the end of the podcast. And I yield my time.